Ulonga tabati yada to ye ko madaifa. Ino to ye ko je love baby pa. Oba tala, oba takutakun. Songo Eshu, Ogun Oya Osun. Kini ṣẹ̀ṣe tán ṣe nílé yìí o. Ó jẹ́ lọ jára.
You talk about divine time. Lafayette, peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Welcome to another episode of the African Spirituality Experience. I am your host, Orisha Bami, and today we are joined by none other than Mr. Tawede, the all-powerful, almighty community, distinguished community elder, Oloye Baba Ifa Karade, Bora Boya Bo Shishe. How you doing, Baba?
Okay, Agbo, Ato, Saray, Worry, Wofun. That's all the Jise and Babalaos, relate and respond with each other. Peace and blessings to you, my brother, and to all of the Ashe tribe and the Karade Nation. We here now. Okay?
Here now. Yes, sir. That's what's up. Hey, I apologize, family, for the minor delay, man. Like I told you, we've mentioned this before on multiple episodes that the technology be technology, man. And I feel like some of it might be technical difficulties, some of it might be a little pass interference on the play. But either way it go, they ain't gonna stop us here today. So I appreciate y'all, for hanging tight for us, man, and being patient as we work through these technical difficulties because they seem to kind of happen on the regular. But we're gonna continue to push through them on the regular. But with that, first and foremost, Baba, I appreciate you, Tawede Day One. We were able to share, the episode, the live stream episode of Tawede yesterday, and then also to double down and come back today for day two, with the subject matter and topic at hand as well. I'm definitely ready to get into it and dive in. And shout out to all the tribe, man. Everybody for the love and support. We appreciate it as always. Shout out to everybody who grabbed their free download of the free, Ashe Spiritual Awakening journal. Definitely looking forward to having some calls this week, to kind of go through and work through it, on a collective group effort, So I look forward to that as well as what me and Baba already have in store and what we're doing with the VIP crew. So shout out to everybody who's a member and shout out to everybody who's a member of the channel alone. We still appreciate everybody, no matter which tier, no matter which level, no matter where you at, we appreciate you. Even y'all who watch who aren't subscribed, we appreciate y'all too. And for some of y'all, if you could do us a favor and just hit the subscribe button, it'll mean a lot to us because, we take pride in what we do and we want to do it, better and better. And the way we can continue to do that is to continue to grow, subscriptions and the community. So with that, I appreciate it, and I give thanks. So bye-bye.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
As you get it in, man, I see you got a real strong topic for tonight. Real strong topic.
Yeah,
man.
And it can go in so many ways, But as much as we try to be concise, we just keep opening up more and more portals, and it's deeper and deeper knowledge, deeper and deeper truths and understanding, and life becomes a testament, not only to our ancestors in respect in regards to the service that we give, but also in respect to the upliftment that we receive from that service, the insights, the recognition of the fathomless, the depths that we hold within us as a people, it's beyond it's beyond understanding just how much of us has been ripped from us, torn from us, stripped from us. It's beyond understanding how systems are at play that keep us from truly having insight to, knowledge of, reflections of, continuation of ourselves as an empire of people. Not just, we the sons and daughters of slaves, or the sons and, the children of Ham, and, whatever other type of limitations that are continually pressed upon us in order and with purpose. These constrictions aren't accidental, my people. They're not accidental. There's some pretty smart folks who sit around in very smart situations and buildings and brainstorming and psychoanalyzing and carrying on, who come up with how we're going to best keep these melanated people drowning in inferiority complexes, drowning in lack of knowledge of true self, and yes, power over their destinies, over their fate. How are we going to keep them at the bottom, even though it may appear that the foot of enslavement is not pressed heavily upon their necks? You see? So with that said, every time we stand up a little straighter, you know, our roots go a little deeper and our heads go a little higher, and we really embrace the fact that dignity is a part of integrity, and that knowledge is a part of a life-giving continuation. Are you aware of the foods that you eat? Are you aware of the impact of the thoughts that you have? Are you cognizant of not only the history, but the continual building upon that history? Are you aware? Are we aware? And for the most part, let's face it, we're not. Okay, we still kind of continue in mass to feel as though our ancestors weren't very, you know, academic, weren't very scholarly, you know, were doomed to be enslaved, were, you know, discredited as scourge of the earth, dehumanized. Okay. Then we come to realize that we've been injected with some very powerful drugs. You know, we've been injected with some very powerful misconceptions about ourselves. And yes, and we've been poisoned. And see, we try to realize that being of Ifa and Isheche in order to bring about the antidote, in order to bring about the counteracting, the counteractions that are primarily for the liberation and upliftment of our people. And yes, we can say that's a Black Power statement. You know, we can go back to Garvey, we can go back to Delaney, you know, we can go back to Toussaint Louverture, we can go back to many individuals. But when we still look at the masses of our people, and I say that in plural because I'm speaking of the diaspora, and how we're still suffering from lack of identity, positive identity. You know, I did a talk just today revolving around 12% of Black males can read proficiently as they've reached the 8th grade. 12%. 12%. And you know, and we may wonder what it is that we have to do in this priestly order. We have to save our people. I mean, the bottom line. And if being, you know, amongst those who educate and amongst those who have a mindful perspective of mind from a psychiatric or a psychological, you know, point of reference, point of view, to be amongst the masses of our people in any given city, any given state, and bring about change. How can we deny that this is an ancestral movement, that you know, that this is what we are set to do? 12%, my people. And then what's the rippling effect of that? Low employment, you know, high disease and early death rates. See? Imprisonment, incarceration. 68% of us don't read beyond 4th grade levels. You know? So here we are as builders of institutions that primarily rely upon literature and research, okay? Insights are written out, articulated, novels for children and adults. Here we are, shining as a light amongst our people. But in the same respect of the Dogons that Baba Orisha Bemi mentioned on the last podcast, who have trained their eyes to see beyond the darkness, we have to train our third eyes to see beyond the darkness as well, so that we can bring light unto our people. And such is a necessity. It's non-debatable. Okay, we have to alleviate the suffering of our people. And if we're just in it for selfish reasons, and again, you know, the power hungry or the supernaturalists, okay, there's room for all of that in the vastness of the cosmos. But there's a necessity to uplift our people and bring about a saving grace. And we can only do that amongst others if we do it among ourselves and ultimately within ourselves. And such is the echoing of Tawede. Baba Orisha Bemi, what do you think?
Think you're starting out hot, man. You ain't need no warm-ups. Did you even stretch today? They just came in and jumped in the
game. I've been getting ready since the break of dawn, brother.
Look. I feel like the Golden State Warriors, man, when they had the they had a dynasty going. Just came in, just lighting it up. Didn't even warm up for real. Started lighting it up, shooting long distance threes from half court.
Right. This is the other team that does not want that need to warm up some more. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not going to give you time to draw your sword. I'm going to go ahead. You're going to be done. Okay. That is the samurai way. We ain't trying to be nice. We are here to win.
Sometimes you got to strike first.
Hey.
Yeah. No, I thought it was powerful, man. I thought it was, as always. But and I appreciate the shout out, and for the Starseeds book that I'm working on several projects, multitasking, but we're gonna make it happen because we need it. And it's funny because family, we got the Professor Cabernet live stream is scheduled for next Monday. I was able to get with him to reschedule that one, so that one's going down. But I wanted to throw that in there because we just had a good conversation about healing. And he was echoing a lot of what you just said, in regards to us healing. He was like, we can't do anything if we don't heal. And it's like, it's divine alignment the way I see it, because just as you said, the Dogons were able to train their eyes, their physical eyes, in order to see at such a vast distance. Like you said, we need to train our, what someone call third eye or someone call first eye. Either way, the mind's eye. We need to train that to its highest capacity, because when we work with that mind's eye, there are no limits. Because at that point, that's when you start to be able to truly manipulate the energy, kind of like we spoke about on a previous podcast when I had that experience with being in two realms simultaneously. That's the first time that I recall that ever happening, where I was conscious in two different realms, simultaneously. However, in hindsight now, even speaking that out loud, that's not, because there's been times when I've astral projected during, some really deep, intense meditations, whether it was on my own in my own meditation or being under the guidance of a Reiki healer, during a Reiki, session. I've astral projected many times, while I was in a healing session. So it's like, the more that we work on the healing, the more I feel like we're able to really speed up the process of the progression or the elevation or the expansion. You know what I mean? Because then we can go from taking those minor steps, you know, little chop steps one at a time, and start to taking those quantum leaps, kind of like technology. And shout out to the family who's been asking about the metaphysical content. We're talking about like extraterrestrials and ETs and all that. Speaking of which, I'm gonna go kind of swerve a little bit because I did want to get with you on this. I was hearing about all those drones up there in Jersey. Have you seen or heard anything about them drones that are kind of just posted up around Jersey?
Yeah, but I don't really want to deviate from where we are.
But I only say that because I am going to put content out on those topics because there is a lot I feel like that's going on that people need to know. You know, depending on which type of content or media that they're consuming. I want to make sure that we're educated to the best way we can with what's going on. But anyway, either way it goes, when we're talking about healing, we're talking about metaphysics. We're talking about the above, you know, over the overstanding, the understanding, the outer standing, and the understanding. So we're talking about, you know, multidimensional healing. And I think that's something that's needed now more than ever, Baba, because we have so much work to do and so far to go, but we can't do it without the essentials, which is the healing. Like we have to heal ourselves in order to strengthen our relationship with self, strengthen our relationship with our significant others, strengthen our relationships with our children, strengthen our relationships with our community, strengthen our relationships with our family, like on all aspects, in order for us to come in unison to then be, you know, on a united front by strengthening on a collective cultural level, and then, you know, ultimately a global level. But it starts, you know, within. It starts with self first.
Right. And we become the role models, for lack of a better word. You know, we become the insightful ones. And granted, everyone doesn't have that temperament. You know, everyone doesn't have that nature about them. But that's not to say that that temperament in nature is not needed. Not everyone can be a hunter. Yes. You understand? It's just not their nature. Right. You know, they don't have the temperament. Not everyone can be a wrestler or a martial artist.
Yeah.
Okay. But and in that respect, we still need them. Not everyone can be a soldier or a warrior, but we still need them.
Yes.
And not everyone can be the academicians, the you know, the thoughtful, the philosophers, the priestly.
Yes. Yes.
No matter how hard they try or how much they pay to get it. But the whole thing is, you know, if it's not of your nature, that still doesn't mean that you don't need it. You don't need it in a society. It still doesn't mean you don't need it in a society. It is obviously.
And it doesn't mean that you're not needed either.
Exactly. You know, so there's no need of questioning your own esteem. You find your niche because, like we use the analogy of the ship. Everybody on the ship is not doing the same thing to get from point A to the destination. And then we're not even talking about the people who built the ship.
Right.
You know, so, you know, thinking in terms of a cooperative instead of a destructive, you know, thinking in terms of the team. People, oh, well, there's no I in team. Well, there is an M and an E. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And if the me is a vital part of the team, then yes, you know, that I accompanies the me. So, you know, this whole singularity, individualism, you know, I got to be better than you. You got to be better than me. You know,
collaboration over competition, Baba. That's the model.
Yes,
collaboration over competition.
Okay. And as the Ifa Isheche, one of the most damaging, you know, blows that I've had to deal with in the early stages was not seeing that amongst the various Elas, you know, and always, you know, hoping for the best and needing to be beyond, you know, the quibbling and, you know, things that go on like everywhere else. You know? And I guess sometimes, you know, we need a little reality check that people are people no matter where they are. And situations are going to be situations no matter where they are. But for me, at a certain age and stage, it's like, it doesn't have to be that way. You know, there are ways to even be confrontational, but still progress.
Yeah.
And that was the thrust of Oyeku for today. How we confront, or how we must confront death in order to avert it.
I should.
Like we have to confront invaders in order to keep them from disturbing our peace and taking over our land. You know, and we have to confront those aspects of ourselves, those dimensions of ourselves that are chained to self-destructive tendencies and misunderstandings about our temperaments. You know, oh, I just have a bad temper. You know how I am. No, I don't know how you are. You don't know how you are. Okay. You know, or I really, you know, I can't take the world kind of thing. I get depressed real easy. You know how I am. Yeah. No, I don't know how you are. You know how you are. So, you know, how are we going to work on this? And what systems do we have in play as Babalawos, Iyanifas, Babalorishas, Iyalorishas, specifically in order to be of the healing of our people? Okay, not bringing them to, you know, externalness, but bringing them to internalness, because clearly that's where the emphasis lies. Now, there may be external reasons for it, granted, okay? Granted, there are external reasons for it. Anything from trauma to abuse to abandonment, you know, the whole series of what goes on in the world, disease, you know, all of what we would call the Ajogun. Okay? Yes, external. And these external essences, if you will, are anthropomorphized. You know, they take on shape and form. They're personified. You know, they behave like human beings. But the truth of the matter is that it's probably not. We interpret and place upon that which we have no real concept of, so that we can better conceive it, so that we can better deal with it. And Baba, Rishabemi, going back to your statement about technology, they did a study when they're dealing with robotics, right? And the more human they made the robots look, the more it was accepted by the people. Even though the robot did the same exact thing in the same exact way. But because we tend to take what we can't see and mold it into something that we can more so relate to in terms of our own shape and form, then we better communicate with it. We better, you know, kind of understand it. And that's why androids and everything else are looking more human. The AIs are sounding more human because they connect. Well, the same thing happens on the essence side, on the spiritual side. Okay, we bring them into our mind frame, and that is helpful. Right. I mean, there's no denying it. So if we're going to be victorious over these Ajogun, then we kind of need to see them the way that we see them, and then work out ways to negotiate with them. Because emotions are older than intellect. Okay, emotions, you know, people say that they're primal emotions. You know, the primal came before the intellect. So we have to deal with that. And in relationship to, again, day 2 of Tawede, in confronting death in order to avert its just going off, just young people dying, you know what I mean, in the street gang, all that kind of thing. Death is like, yeah, well, but Oromia is like, no, we got to put a stop to this.
Yeah.
And we find this in Oyeku. Oyeku Meiji to be exact. Okay. When Oyeku Meiji come down, it's like, okay, we see Oyeku. It's right there. There's no missing.
Yeah.
Now we start to, even if we're not initiated, that doesn't mean we can't read and learn, which kind of goes back to 12% of Black males by the 8th grade have already, if the 12% made it, but the 88% didn't.
Well, and that's where they base their numbers off of, Bubba. And I don't mean to cut you off, but like when you look at the school to prison pipeline, what they do is they literally do it. And you work in education too every day. So it's like that's what they do. They take a percentage of the score testing from the scores from the testing, and then they calculate based off of literally what you just said. They're looking at how many of those 88% are they going to be able to fill the prison population with? How many are they going to be able to get free labor from? How many are they going to be able to put on the chain gang? Like, how many are they going to be able to put in the kitchen or in the laundry room? Or, you know what I'm saying? Because they got to keep not only the beds full, but they also have to keep the labor positions full. So therefore, they're looking at investing in the time of our Black males as pretty much like stocks, like the stock market, like literally, because that's why they do the calculations to make sure that they have everything they need in order to continue to push the agenda, in order to continue to push all the BS that leads up into us getting caught up in that trap, to then be put into the system.
Right. It's like they're investing in our ignorance.
Facts.
And this is why I say, my Ela is inside of me, because when I walk into these institutions, it's not like my Ela is all over there somewhere. It's like this is one. This is one because we're working internally. The Ela is built from the ground up, okay, and from up to the ground. We walk it, we talk it, we know what our mission really is. I mean, truly, are we trying to get more people into Ifa and Isese? No, that's going to happen just due to the magnetism of it all.
Yeah.
But our mission has to be for the saving grace of our people. And going back to your statement, brother, the grade that they start determining the prisons is fourth grade. I still got people who don't believe it. Well, you don't have to believe it. Look it up. Okay, what I mean.
Get you a copy of Young Kings, the ebook order. Matter of fact, I'm gonna run a special on that and Star Seeds for running
Run it because see, it's sacred work, and trying to bring two different points. Oh, well, this is religion and this is world. I want to keep religion over here and I want to keep world over here. See, that's a very Eurocentric, dichotomy, duality concept. That's not an ancestral embracing. And all the people running around in Ifa and Isese still, like I call them, with bleached minds.
Television.
And that's not a put down. It's just, come on. Day 2 of Isese, day 2 of Tawede is like, we have to start taking hard looks at ourselves.
Yeah.
And no, it's not supposed to be pretty. It's supposed to be heart-wrenching, and it's supposed to be dang, I'm thinking like that. I'm going like this. Well, yeah, because we've been conditioned since conception.
Yeah. And you can't grow without pain.
Can't grow without pain. Yes, sir. Yeah, but we're going to turn pain into progress.
Yeah. No, I was saying, you're talking about the snake that sheds its skin in order to grow into the new skin. You're talking about the caterpillar that goes into the cocoon to shed its skin to become the butterfly, like the dung beetle, from ancient Kemet, Chakra, that balls itself up into a ball of dung in order to, lay the eggs. The eggs to unburrow themselves out of the ball of dung and to become beetles that can fly. So it's like every aspect of life, even through nature, we see that there has to be a transformation process, and usually it's not going to be without a little pain.
childbirth, okay,
labor,
labor pains on down, So the whole thing is keeping true to our directive, and even though they may be shaded differently, which they should be, nobody trying to get anybody to be like them. It's just we got an orchestra happening. You got people playing chorus and you got people playing djembes. You got people singing and people on the bells, but together, together. Okay, we move the spirit. Okay, and then the world is open. We're not living in a duality. We are conjoined. If from the early Asian, might be the Taoist, the whole yin yang kind of flow. But we had that. As a matter of fact, we're the originators of it. So seeing the need and being a part of quote unquote training people in Ifa and Isese to not only see the need but exercise the techniques so expressed in Young Kings, Star Seeds, and the journal that you've written, okay, is, as they say, primarily needed. Okay,
that's right.
It is of the utmost importance. It's not a leisurely stroll, my people. We have Isese to do. And spinning around, waiting for the external to happen. Okay, that might be the way of the Abrahamics, but that's not the way of the Edo. That's not the way of the Oyo. And primarily where we're from. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I said the Kemites, the Nile Valley.
Yes. Kush.
Ethiopia. I mean, we can go all across the continent.
Yeah.
So
we were in deep existence, before even the Coptics of Ethiopia.
Yeah.
But few people don't want to understand that one of the Ethiopians was taken to Greece during the early days of, because the first Biblios was in Greek, So, and then they whipped him up. And then when he went back, and then it was a matter of trade and, international geopolitical stuff.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like Ethiopia just came up with Christianity on their own.
Right.
No, it was brought to them by one of their own who was enslaved and then who was sent back. So there's this whole lot of intricacies, and some of it makes a vast difference, and some of people might say, it doesn't make any difference at all.
Right. But
whether it does or not, we still have to go in order to deal with what is, in our reach,
right,
to make better.
Okay, that's fair.
Make better. I'm trying to clog up the pipeline to prison.
Respectfully, I know you are clogging it up.
No, I got my own.
Respectfully, like the work you told me you've been doing with them children, them young kings and queens in your class, man. Like that, trust me, that's putting the clog in.
Well, plus I was working in the prisons.
Yeah.
So but these are 17, 18-year-olds. And they're not even of the mindset where focus and development is paramount. Now those 18-year-olds become 24-year-olds and then 30-year-olds. And we talked about the rippling effect. And I was like, yo, what does a Black male who is not proficient in literacy, what impact does that have on the community at large? And they were rolling with that. And it was funny. And I'm just going to be, real brief with this.
No,
but the sisters were like, the young queens were like, well, it was a time when black men had more access, and so black women weren't able to get the education. Okay, and I said, oh well, okay, we're gonna look at that, because see, they're still swirling,
right?
You know? But grown folks, they're swirling too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but that's why we still got 88%, black male. But we looked it up, and it's 19% of black and Latino females who are proficient, as opposed to 12% of black and Latino males who are proficient. And I said, well, those 7 points, let me tell you right now, that's not much, in the realm of tens of thousands of people.
Right.
And on top of that, and just to show you how deep this goes, one of my past students just got admitted to a HBCU in Maryland. So she was all happy. She came to let me know. And one of the administrators were like, why are you going to a school like that? And she stopped, the young sister, okay? And I stopped. I said, a school like what? School like, do you come be specific?
Yeah, because I got an idea, but what was the answer?
Yeah,
like what a school like what? What is that school? Please tell me what that. Right. It reminded me of that interview with a brother. I can't remember his name. He's an actor, and it was a white dude. There was you probably seen it. It was on the news, and he said something about the N-word, and he wanted to say it.
Oh yeah. Go ahead and say it.
Say it. I want you to go ahead and say it. Go ahead and roll. Say it.
Right. Since you brought it up.
Listen.
But see, this is, for me, this is the priestly. For me, this is Tawede. For me, okay. Yeah, I can have my shrines, and and chant all these kind of words and blah 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 blah. But from inside of me, what am I bringing to my people? What am I bringing to the world? So, but now when I asked the administrator, we say, well, yeah, I know it's but they're all black, right? And I said, well, some of them are, but most of them are not. Okay, but I just feel as though it would be good to go to a school that's more diverse. I'm like, what the? But see, these are the administrators in the school.
Yep.
These are the administrators, and she's Latina, forgive me, Latina. So then what happens is that, but in that moment, that this young girl, okay, whom I taught for like a year or two, and preparing her for college, and she's a track star. She chooses to go to a HBCU, but an administrator in her school questions, why would you do that? I'm
sorry to interrupt, but was the student, was she black or was she Spanish too?
She's black. She's going to a historically black college and university.
I got you.
And I know, the Latinas are going, drip by drip.
That's why I was wondering, because I was wondering if it was like just a straight up self-hate-ish, or was it she was like trying, what I'm saying? Because either way it goes, it's self-hate, because hell, black administrator could have said, you know what I mean? Depending on what mindset is that. You feel me? Because technically he was black anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, so. Because the administrators probably, part, we all mix, but, mix. Right. But you're right. It's what the thinking is. Yes.
Okay. And you excusing it for needing for these children to have diversity. There's no prestigious white school talking about, oh, we need to send you to a black school so you can have diversity. No, we're going to set you up to come back to our communities and enrich our communities and get them high-paying jobs to send money back to our communities and build our people. And that's what I shared with my young student, who will be in college come September.
I know that's right. I should.
But see, this is priestly work. There's no separation.
Yeah.
And if we don't attune ourselves to have a voice, then we will be voiceless, whether we're standing there or not.
Yeah.
And this is what we come back to day one of Tawede when we deal with Agbe. Agbe is OGBE. Okay, Agbe, the essence that brings about the saving. Be. Okay. All right. Be ba. All right. The saving of. And when we bring in Obatala, okay, and good people, just bear with me, you know, because you know once the bell rings, I'm in. Okay, you know, I'm in the ring. I'm in the ring before the bell ring. They're like, well, wait a minute.
Yeah, he came out swinging haymakers today, boy. Look, I guess all that Mike Tyson talk we had this weekend.
Yeah. I was just thinking the same thing.
You brought that same energy today, boy. He came out swinging. Left,
right. Oh, they on the floor. Done. Okay, what's for lunch? All right. But at any rate, you know, just kind of bear with me because see, this is important to me, and it's important to us, you know. And as the priestly, you know, we have to take it in and give voice to our people. But how are we going to do that if we don't give voice to ourselves? And this is where Agbe comes in, because it is the saving grace. It is the voice of the people that moves the people. And this is why. So, Obatala is ahead. Well, no, Obatala is right here. Trust me on this. Well, I've had serious conversations with Baba Me. All right. And the more we explore it, you know, internally, the more it starts to make sense, from endocrine glands, you know, to the whole nine. But when we start thinking about how we're going to move forward, we have to think about the voice that we lend. Now, we talked about the chakra going in. Just like Om is the overriding mantra or sound, if you will, okay, of vibrational frequency. For the throat chakra is HAM. Home. You'll vibrate this chakra. Now, this is all pre-Aryan invasion. These systems were developed by our Dravidian ancestors on the eastern shores of our motherland. And as they spread to what is now, you know, Indian Asia. But the whole thing is these sounds were in effect. And so for each chakra, there's a sound.
Right.
But for right now, we're just going to focus on, because Agbe was yesterday, day one of Tawede. Right. Tawede is in honor of Obatala. You know, so we will learn to focus on our throat chakra and the sound of which hum, 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 and feel that in our vocal cords, to strengthen our voice, to bring about the Ofo Ashe, the power of the word. And people might say, well, in the beginning was the word. And I'm like, well, how do you know it was a word? Okay, who translated it? Why couldn't it have been a sound? Because words are sound. Okay, so when we start to go in and you know, reach through the portal to the essence of our Orisha, our divinities, then we start to walk a little differently. We start to talk a little differently. We start to be the Ashe, not just say Ashe or call upon Ashe, you know, well, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Okay, well, that's nice. But what's going on inside of you? I mean, really, what's going on inside of you? Okay. Are you fearless enough to face yourself and make death-defying changes, if you will? Okay. And, people with diabetes still eating sugar, people fighting over women, still running around carrying on, you know what I mean? Women who are pregnant, smoking cigarettes. You understand what I'm saying? And just
drinking while you're breastfeeding.
It's like, what?
Smoking weed.
Yes. Yes. So it's like, okay, at what point do we, as the priestly, shine bright enough for people to see reflections of themselves? At what point do we provide techniques and methodologies for people to self-help? And right now, it's about reflection and taking into a level of responsibility, observing your own thoughts, your own purpose, your own way. Okay. Yes. The awakening.
My bad.
No. The timing is perfect. I loved it, man.
I was trying to pull up the page for Nkosi had asked, is there a particular focus that we should focus on with the chakras? And I was saying that yes, it's in the I believe it's in the handbook and in the journal, if I'm not mistaken, my notes. It's in there, but I'm gonna share it real quick. But based upon the 7 major chakras, the throat chakra has like a turquoise type color. As a matter of fact, I don't want to mess up my setup, but I can also share in the community. I'll post it in Costa, but they actually have 7 chakra incense as well. So what I do, I got a couple of boxes. I'm running low now, but I'll share. But they have 7 chakra incense that I like to meditate with. So what I'll do is I'll usually use a crystal that's part of whatever chakras I'm working on, or if I'm working on trying to clear all 7 or just elevate with all 7, I'll set up a crystal grid based upon some of the chakras that align with each one. I'm sorry, some of the crystals that align with each chakra. So for example, when I had that issue going on with my throat, I was meditating with I forgot the name of my blue crystal. I got like 3 different blue crystals, but I was meditating with all my crystals that had healing energies or healing modalities that kind of help with the throat chakra. And then also what you can do if you really want to turn it up, I got some songs as well. I got some chakra songs for meditation as well as the incense. So what I'll do sometimes, I'll line up all of them. I'll line up whichever chakra I want to kind of focus on with the sound of that chakra, as well as with a crystal that kind of ties into that chakra as well. So it's definitely a lot of different I feel like a lot of different strategies and a lot of different ways you can kind of go at taking it to the next level.
Yeah, that's powerful, brother.
Appreciate you, bye-bye.
It's powerful. No, man. We in this together, man.
Appreciate you, Queen.
And just to kind of ride on the winds of that, for me, when I'm doing my Tai Chi, I make triply sure, that I'm feeling that air pass through my throat chakra. And when I read about Tai Chi from the ancients, and when I look at the breathing exercises of the ancients, the prana and the pranayama, it's so important to feel that air passing through the throat. Feel that air passing through the throat. Okay. Again, another technique. Okay. There may be times when you can get to, the incense and the crystals, but there may be times when you can't. So, you have a varying number of techniques, just like if taking the martial art, there's a varying numbers of katas and forms that you learn. So in any other given situation, that you can reference that which is going to be beneficial to you, to say the least. Okay. But as Orisha Baby was saying, you know, you have your colors, you have your songs, you have
Orishas,
colors, songs.
Orishas.
You have your Orishas. Over to La decided he was going to visit today. I will always, you know, cast my obi. This is the first time he was like, yeah, okay, maybe I'll let people, you know, see me seeing them. Okay. But the whole thing is, you know, and here the white Tawede clay vessel, the lit candle, you know. So, you know, it's all there. Just because the ceremony is big and elaborate, that doesn't mean that it's inwardly strengthening.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a beautiful car with a bad engine. Come on.
Right.
Okay.
Down here we see it a lot, man. People that got old schools and you know put all kind of bands on the paint and the rims and the music and TVs and all kind of other stuff on the side of the road with the hood up with the engine smoking. Like, you got to start with the heart first, bro. Like, you can't go, you know what I'm saying, getting all these car BBLs and you ain't started with the engine. You gotta get that engine right first, man, before you do all that stuff.
Get pretty later.
Yeah, that's you gotta make sure that heart straight.
But you know, I'm being somewhat guided to speak a bit about ASU. And ASU becomes very important on this journey. And I'm going to share with you two very brief encounters that I had. One is that a statement came across my desk about, you know, the whole ASU Satan thing, you know, that's really kind of gaining some momentum, not only in Nigeria, but from what I've heard, even here in the States. And so I said, well, let me look at this and see, you know, how I can best be of assistance. And I came across the term Eshu ki ishe Satani. Eshu ki ishe Satani, which means Eshu is not Satan. Eshu ki ishe Satani. Right? And I said, okay, let me take it a step further. I'm going to hit translation. Okay, because I'm curious now. And when I hit translation, what showed up on the screen was Satan is not the devil. Let me turn that around. The devil is not Satan. And I'm like, what? What? So if I'm perhaps just getting into the, you know, Ifa or Isheshe kind of thing, and I'm trying to pick up a little Yoruba here and there, and something come across about Eshu, and I don't really understand the language. I don't really know anything except Eshu, you know. Okay. And I see not Isheshe, but Ki Ishe, and then I see Satan-y. Well, I'm like, okay, well, let me see what this means. And then it comes, and then the translator says, the devil is not Satan. I'm like, wow. You know, this is what we have to contend with. This is what we have to contend with.
Yeah.
And this is, you know, Google, YouTube, you know, or wherever this AI is programmed to say that, oh, it's going to say it.
Right.
You know, and that reinforces the misconception that is unfortunately gaining traction.
Yeah.
You know,
Bro Consul said that AI is translating Eshu as the devil. I'm not surprised. Matter of fact, I think you said you saw that.
Yeah,
you was on another interview or something. I think you said that you saw it do that as well.
Came up in an interview.
Yeah, that's real, bro Consul.
Yeah, I mean, and again, these are, well, somebody, it's not the AI who translates it, it's the programmer who translates it.
Yeah.
Come on now. You know, let's keep it real. It's the programmer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, I spoke with our 100 today,
mm-hmm.
and they're having a big kind of gathering in Abeokuta on Tuesday.
This coming Tuesday?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And it is to address this whole, movement against them, and they got T-shirts with "Esu is not Satan," and on the front and the back, and they're going to be handing out T-shirts, to basically, I can easily say the younger generation, who have been so biblically influenced and so academically influenced, Well, you're right, many of the early Nigerian educators in the Western sense, who were translators of the Bible into Yoruba, they were Christianized. They were Christianized. Crothers, Samuel Johnson were paramount, in spreading the Bible translated into Yoruba. And Esu was, back in the 1890s on through the 1900s, biblically portrayed as Satan. Now you got to remember, when these young parents take their children to church and these young children are hearing this, then the rippling effect in terms of generations becomes a tsunami, if you will. And it's not even so much of whether these people believe it or not. Back to, what do you really believe in? It's just that that's what they've been programmed, just like that AI. That's what they've been programmed to look and translate and respond. They don't. I tell you straight up, they probably don't even know what they're talking about. They're just programmed. Okay. Well, she was saying this. Well, how you know? Well, that's what they say in church. But I didn't ask you what they say in church. I asked you, how do you know? Because you saying that, oh, that's what you've been told, does not equate to a knowledge of nor from self. What investigation did you do? Whom did you talk to? What statistics did you take? Where are you going with this? Oh, that's what the preacher said. I repeat. You understand?
Brother Kosi got a real good valid point. He said he wonders if they were forced into calling Esu Satan, under duress, or kind of like being I wouldn't say blackmail, but kind of like what do you call it? I forgot what you call it when people kind of like pretty much hold you hostage and make it certain thing. I can't think of that way.
Well, that being the case, how did we become Christians? Period.
Yeah.
That being the case, and how much of a duress, do you have to suffer, when invaders come into your land and force a belief system upon you and tell everybody that you didn't resist,
right?
And then force you to sin, like they did with the first people here, be they African, quote unquote, Native American or what, or
melanated. Bad words, either way it go.
Yeah, either way it go. They were snatching kids from their homes and putting them into missionary schools. Now, if that's the type of duress you're talking about, then yes, definitely. Okay, definitely. Because but see, that's by design. You take the child from the home, put them in a missionary school, whip them if they even speak their language. I mean, brutally whip them. Whip them if they don't believe in what you're telling them, brutally. Then yeah, we can consider that a little bit of a duress, a little pressure and a little coercion. But at the end of the day, it was life or death. It was life or death. And then push those kids back into the community. You see?
I was gonna say, I didn't want to cut you off, but as you're saying that, it makes me think of two stories that I'm going to be sharing too in depth. One is that's pretty much one of the stories was what happened with one of the lead warriors for the Haitian Revolution, Dutty Boukman. And so he was raised before he got shipped off from Africa. I think he was I don't know if he was a Cameroon. I can't remember which part he was from. I think it was Cameroon, but I can't remember. But anyway, before he got shipped over from Africa to Haiti, he was I think he studied Islam, so he carried around a Quran with him. He never left. Like everything he did with that Quran. So he had it, like he would keep it like kind of like underneath his belt waist strap or what have you. So when he got to Haiti, they saw that he had the book. Mind you, they're not supposed to be reading anyway. You're not supposed to know how to read. And so they tried to like give him to give up his Quran. He wouldn't give it up. So they said, okay. So what they did, they took the book and like burned him, like set the book on fire and burned it on him, kind of like a brand, like branded him with the book. That's how he became known as Dutty Boukman. So, but what he did, he didn't let that stop him. So he still continued to educate himself and, train and became to be one of the leading forces of the revolution, because he was the one who actually was the lead priest who did the ceremony for invoking of Ogun in the alligator swamp, which was pretty much what led to them, starting the revolution when he invoked the spirit of Ogun, and it was on and popping. And then the other one is Nat Turner. The story of Nat Turner. I'm not sure how many of the tribe has read the story of Nat Turner, but I have his Confessions. It's a very powerful piece. And same thing, he was brought up as a pastor in the church, but he used it to his advantage as well, because what he did is he got educated, got trained, and then he was able to, do what he did with his mission. So it's like, not everybody's built to be a field, warrior.
Yeah.
But most that are put in that place will stay as the house, lack of a better word. But yeah. But yeah, so it's all, I think it's all in your mentality and your mindset. How are you going to do what we were talking about earlier? Is like, what are you going to do with what you have? You know what I mean? Like, we can make diamonds out of, we can make diamonds out of coal, but are you willing to chip away at the coal long enough to get to the center of the diamond?
That's right. And we talked about Dr. King and Al Hajj,
Yes,
Christian and the Muslim, but yet, beyond the conditioned state, there's something inside of them.
Right.
That can only be now. Yeah, remember, what they both had gone through, and especially Al Hajj, with his father, and the clan and everything. It's like, what? And even with Rosa Parks, she was just the clan. Her best friend was lynched. You know what I mean? These aren't, internally soft people. They're just conditioned by the conditions around them. So be those conditions under duress. You got to remember, Al Hajj was in prison when he became a Muslim. Okay, so it's really kind of touch and go. But when we look at the masses, when we look at the rule, of course, we see the exceptions. But again, for example, we can look at the 12% of young Black males who can read proficiently going into 8th grade. Now, what, by the time they get 16, they can drop out and again, nobody stop them. Okay. So we can look at that and say, oh, isn't that wonderful? The 12% made it. And we can look at the young queens and it'll be like, oh, well, 19%. Well, that's not too bad, 19%. But see, we're looking at the exceptions. Okay, I'm looking at the rule, the masses, the ruled, if you will. and saying, well, if only 12% are kind of making it, what about the other, 88%? What about them? And Gil Scott Heron came out with a nice piece, back in the day, and he was sharing, Black folks become lawyers, doctors, politicians, but Gil Scott Heron was saying, you forgot about us. You forgot about us. And of course, he's speaking for the most part, but I don't think it's too hard, to put a finger on the pulse of his poetry, of his pain. And as we strive to become the less than 1% of spiritual people, embracing their ancestry and their divinities by image and by name, the masses of the people will look at us and say the same thing. Are you going to forget about us? Are you going to be so concerned about, everything else except us? Then what's your point? What's your point? So, yeah, saying all that to say that. Now, the second thing I wanted to say about Esu is the importance of Esu as the messenger. Okay. Now, we can look at that in a lot of ways, but the way that I'm being guided to share with you is the nervous system, the speed of transmission, between, for example, what we sense and how we work with that, because every time we feel something, say something, smell something, hear something, see something, things are happening. Things are happening up here, and things are happening throughout our body. Okay. Reflex, sympathetic, parasympathetic, there's all kind of nervous, connects that make it so the message is clear. Am I hearing what I'm hearing, seeing what I'm seeing? Am I clear? Okay. And if we give more homage to Esu, we, as a suggestion, should give more homage to our nervous system. We can't go in without, embracing the importance of our nervous system. I mean, it's impossible. Okay. And then how do we go beyond the quote unquote 5 senses? Now they're saying we have up to 12 senses because people are starting to understand that we vibe out from within. And some of us can perceive that, but we can't perceive it if we can't feel it. And how are we going to feel it without the nervous system responding to the frequency? Yes, so Esu was just, I got to give an offering to Esu. What? Really? Okay, if that's where you are right here, right now, fine. But understand that, at some point the training wheels, they got to go off.
Mm-hmm.
And then how well you balance yourself and balance your life. That becomes an ancestral statement.
Sure.
And no one can determine when those training wheels, go off, but basically except you or your mentor, who says, look, it's time for you to kind of ease up on that and get in with this.
Sure.
Okay? Because if you really want to know what this Ifa ISESE is about, it's about living life, and perceiving self as an entity within this life, mentally, physically, spiritually, beyond spiritually, into the ether.
Sure.
So let's work on it. So if we while we're going in during this Tawede, we're taking 16 days. It's a Iwakiri, it's a spiritual journey. What are we doing in respect to our nervous system? And that's why the importance of Eshu is paramount within Ifa and Isese. You know? Not because he holds some kind of power, you know, but because he is the power of
transformation,
communication. Yes, thank you. Even how one speaks to oneself, affirmations.
Yes, mantras.
Yes.
Activation.
Yeah. So what herbs are we eating for Eshu? What foods are we eating for Eshu? Okay. What minerals for Eshu? Okay. I found that magnesium works best to keep the nerves calm and clear. I found that skullcap works best to keep the mind, you know, with some clarity about it. Okay. So you kind of have to find it on your own. All anybody can do is give you suggestions. But because see, everything doesn't work for everybody, you know, except having vast knowledge so that you can, you know, basically find out what's best for you. You know? So what do the people say? What do you have to say, man?
Everybody's listening. I mean, I was putting the comments up as the you know, you was going on, but I have a question though in regards to what we're talking about. This is something that I feel like I've heard a lot, or I've heard significant amount of times, but I would love to get your translation of it. But what is the difference between Eshu and Elegba?
It's like Eshu is primarily the force of deliverance. Okay, we give offerings, we tend to Eshu, you know, carry the offerings. Now, Eshu Elegbara comes out of an Odu, whereby Orunmila sends Eshu to Olodumare, and certain situations that were a little out of balance, Eshu was able to bring into balance. So Olodumare gave Eshu a red parrot feather, which is why we wear the red parrot feathers when we get initiated, as a symbol of power. But that bara means the power of word, the power of invocation. Bara. Okay, so it's like different shades of black, you know, gray, black, pitch black, whatever. It's all the same essence, but there's a greater focus with Eshu as the deliverer than Eshu Elegbara or Elegbara, okay, as the invoking essence that carries the prayer, that carries the song, that carries the essence.
Yes, look, you got the tribe and riled up now. So, and look, and I'm gonna throw one more, and I'm gonna throw one more little pitch, little slider, a curveball. So now, I love that definition, Bubba, and I feel like that answered a question that maybe a lot of people already had, or you might have poured some wisdom and knowledge and understanding on a lot of people who never even thought about the difference. But there's a difference, and then also. When you said initiation, that's the Ifa initiation as well. Just for those who that don't know the difference between an Orisha initiation versus an Ifa initiation. It's when the Ifa priests get initiated, when we get the red feather. But what's now? You said Eshu Elbara. Now I know this one, but I would love if you can kind of give us another breakdown. But so now with the significance, since we're talking about Ifa, what's the difference between Esu Odara and the Esu and Esu Abara?
Esu Odara, well, you said the Esu, and then Ara means the body. I remember they combine the words. Gotcha. So now, if we're talking about the inner working, you know, we're just talking about the nervous system, the sympathetic reflex, and you know what's going on in the brain. I would dare to say that when working going in, that it would be more of that shading of Esu, and that would be the Bara. Okay.
I say, yeah, I get it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So again, there's going to be different schools of thought. You know, there's going to be people say one thing that, but
tomato.
Yeah.
Like that's with everything.
Yeah, yeah, right. And it's okay to have different schools of thought. I mean, there were different schools of thought. I've tried to share people in Illiteracy when Orunmila stepped into Illiteracy. Okay. And he literally had to convince people that his way of seeing would be of greater value to the people. Okay. Illiteracy was already in existence before Orunmila. Okay. Just like everywhere else, you know, when these philosophers and prophets came, you know, places were already there. You know what I mean? And people already had their set ways of doing things. And now, I'm bringing something new, y'all. And you know how people act when something new comes along.
Oh yeah, listen. Shout out to Queen, but what she said is real. Many roads to the same place. That's fact. Like even like our journeys. Hell, my journey started. I would say, you know, I didn't really take into what I grew up with, but on my own, by myself as a young, I say maybe middle school, 12, 13, when I started really like maybe a little younger, but around between 11 and 13 when I started studying Malcolm. And you know, in order to study Malcolm, like I said, it's kind of like the Mike Tyson thing. In order to study like what I would consider like the GOAT, or you know, that great rare unicorn, you know, or that great, you know, diamond per se, when we talk about El Shabazz, also known as Malcolm X and Mike Tyson, you want to study the teachers. So for me, when I started studying Malcolm, I realized how much of an influence that the honorable elder, my God, what's his name? The message to the black man. Who was Elijah Muhammad?
Yeah, Elijah Muhammad, their son Wharfdeen. Yeah,
had a brain fart, but yeah. So you know, once I started, you know, researching and studying Malcolm, I realized, okay, well, I need to learn about this Elijah Muhammad, because he was the one who was the teacher that really made the I feel like the spark. You know, he was able to connect Malcolm to Malcolm's higher self and his, you know, him becoming the master that he so eloquently did become. I feel like it was Elijah Muhammad who was the all spark that sparked that, just like it was Castellano who was the all spark that sparked Mike Tyson. So it's like that's where, you know, all roads do go to the same place. So for me, I say I like to say that I started deep study with Islam because that resonated more with me, because I saw men who looked at me as being men of power, or men who were in the position to create power. And then that's when I got into that. The deeper I went into Malcolm's journey, the more I saw, okay, now I got to learn about Marcus Garvey, because his father was a Garveyite. You know what I mean? He was a Pan-African. So it's like, you know, the more we learn, the more we realize there's so much more to learn. But I say all that to say that the journey is always going to have turns and curves and hills and peaks and valleys, etc. But me personally, you know, Islam was kind of like the training wheels. And then once I got into metaphysics and then got into the Nile Valley, that's when it took off for me. So it's like, but you know, we all have different, you know, different strokes for different folks, and sometimes we find a different path to get to, you know, to get to the reunion. You know? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm back to purpose. You know, what was our purpose? You know, why am I into Isheshek? And like you say, what has led me here? My meditations led me here. You know, my solitude led me here. You know. My inner journey through yogic practices and specifically Tai Chi, you know, led me here. But see, all of that was in the opening process. All of that was the you use like the snake, that was the shedding process. That was beginning to understand the growth process, that you can grow yourself from within. Okay. And there may be many other ways that people attain whatever it is they desire spiritually, religiously, but their ways aren't necessarily the ways of everyone. Okay. One size does not fit all. Okay. But we know what the ancestors call us. We're the ones who generally pick up the phone and be like, okay, I'm starting to hear you. And not only am I starting to hear you, I'm starting to have dialogue with you. And now not only am I dialoguing with you, I'm making changes in my life because of the connection that I have with you. And we're kind of breaking down you just started as a slave kind of thing. Your existence didn't really begin until you were, brought here on a slave ship. You didn't have a history. You didn't have a past. You didn't have great empires. Okay. You didn't have priestly. You didn't have mathematicians. You didn't have scientists. You didn't have philosophers. You didn't have prophets. You didn't have any of that. Okay. You didn't even really have a name. So we're gonna anglicize you into existence. But now that we here now, okay, we're saying nah. No. Unacceptable. I'm reclaiming so that I can rebuild. I'm reclaiming because if I'm so ancestrally bound, it didn't begin, in the 1400s. It began thousands of years prior, just like yours began hundreds years prior. And we look back to Benin, the Great Wall of Benin. We look to the Oyo Empire, and we're starting to uncover, just like spiritual archaeologists, the power and the potency of our people. We are spiritual archaeologists. We are digging for the treasure of our existence prior to European invasion, which wasn't that long ago, y'all. It wasn't that long ago. It wasn't that long ago. They didn't destroy the Great Wall until 1897. You got 1920. It was only 200-300 years ago.
Yeah.
It wasn't like all this happened, back in the olden days. You got some people still alive who was enslaved.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Or just passed away not too long ago. You understand? But we got this guy, that happened long ago. And you got Oyembo folks talking about, well, why should I have to suffer for what my ancestors did? Well, every time you walk in and get that job, every time you walk in and get all your privileges, you might not be suffering because of what they did, but you are surely gaining from what they did. And we are continually suffering. So shut up. I personally don't want to hear it. I'm not trying to be, nicey about it, So go about your business, because over here, we handling ours. We're becoming our own priests, our own therapists. We're becoming our own philosophers, our own developers, our own entrepreneurs. We're working our ish out.
Yes, sir.
And we don't need you. We didn't need you for tens of thousands of years. Why you got this trip thing on your head that somebody needs you like that? Just because you're more barbaric, that doesn't make you God, even though you have a God complex.
Yeah, ego.
Worse than that, brother.
Yeah, you said it right, God complex. Yeah.
You know, my third world drummers, man, came out with that piece back in the freaking 70s, Yimbo's got a God complex and they got it bad,
Yeah, man.
Yeah. But we here now, okay? And
here
we do something about it.
Yes, sir. Big facts.
Yeah.
That's real.
But we gotta go in. We
Yeah.
got to go in and we got to awaken the Orisha within. That has nothing to do with, the ceremonies and the ritualists. We talked about this. There's apparently a need for ritualists, There's apparently a need for diviners, and there's a need for, offerings and all that. But if you do all that and you're not changing from within, you're not a part of your own saving grace, you're not understanding and confronting death, then what? Then what? You're just taking a Eurocentric way of worshiping and putting it on Orisha. Where everything is out there. You got Babalawos who aren't inwardly going. They're not teaching. And because they haven't been taught, and because there's no concern. There's no concern. Trust me, there's no concern. Okay. Just like you have teachers in schools, there's no concern. Just like the administrator I just shared with you, it's like, oh, well, we need diversity. No, we need these young Black kids to go to these schools and then come back to the community and become the teachers, the lawyers, the doctors, the police officers, and uplift the communities and maybe stop these corporations from coming in and making ghettos out of our neighborhoods instead of building communities out of our neighborhoods. No, that's what we need. And you aren't in any position to tell us what we need, because that makes you just like them. Just like them, the oppressors. Okay. So it all comes full circle, people. And so
yes, sir.
Now I see you like the spiritual archaeologist part.
Listen, look. You I had the stanky face, man. I was like, I like that. Yes, sir. I had the stanky face with that. I was like, spiritual archaeology. I gotta do something with that. Yeah. But listen, I'm not a content vulture. Huh?
Could you take the thing off of the screen?
Yeah. I'm not a content vulture, but I'm definitely borrowing that one, man. But don't worry, I'll give you credit when I do.
Please use it, even if you forget to give me content. We got therapists, we got spiritual archaeologists. We can put
I like that one. Yes,
we're gonna have it all, brother.
I like that.
So,
yes, sir.
In terms of awakening, okay. Again, we can find ourselves at the Ojubo, and remembering the Ojubo basically means where we face, where one faces, not just the divinity,
right,
but where one faces themselves. The divinities are a reflection of self. People won't come to understand that because it's easy. It's what we've been conditioned to do. Oh, God is out there. The spirits out there. The ancestors are out there. Everything is out there. Okay. But what we are bringing in to realization, actualization, and manifestation, okay, is that yes, their frequencies are out there, but the core is from the inner. The Orisha have spirits. Okay? the ego have spirits, and that's what we're communing with, the spirit of my grandmother. The spirit of.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But we have to be in tune in order to move forward with that, and to be so moved as to write a journal about spiritual progression, to write books of poetry like in my Elder Reflections book, all of that, and go to freaking Cambridge to get a PhD in whatever. No, it was because spirits are moved. Spirits are moving.
You struck a chord with me real quick, Bubba. I want to share something. I see you, Cool Karma. I'm gonna pull you up to the floor in a minute to answer that question for you. But Bubba, I told you about this brother. There's a new brother that I just started following his work in regards to like content creation and marketing, etc. And I'm gonna definitely join that community, like literally as I'm launching my content creation community as well. I know I had mentioned on a live stream a while back, family, but anybody who's interested in content creation, YouTubing, podcasting, digital products, ebooks, etc., holla at me, let me know, because I'm working on bringing my other channel up and conducting those workshops and courses, etc. But one of the brothers I watch his work was sharing on live stream that he did like a week or so ago about how college courses are about to start, I guess, trying to put content creation in the curriculums on campuses, right? And my boy, I love the way he broke it down, but he was spot on with it. He was like, as soon as they start doing that, I'm gonna start releasing courses, because it's not cool for pretty much like for professors to be teaching on being a content creator or being a entrepreneur, in this space if they don't have the experience. Because he's like, y'all are teaching off of theory, whereas I went through the pains and the labor pains and the struggle of being a struggling entrepreneur. And I had to work, fight through all the pains and all, all the ups and downs to get to where I am. He's like, and I don't feel like if they don't have a silver play button, that they earn on YouTube, or a certain amount, if they haven't actually taught people with receipts on how to content create, or they don't have any marketing avenue or channel that is showing that they can actually do this, or they've done that, then where do they get the opportunity to do what we're actually doing and living? And then, make it as if they're the experts by teaching off of theory. They're not teaching off of experience. I was like, boy, my boy said something with that. He got me all riled up when he said that. Like, yes, sir, I feel you on that, man. So, but I say all that to say, like, that's how it is with us, and I was having a conversation with one of my clients the other day, and we were talking about that, and she was like, the reason why she appreciates the work that we do together is because I actually teach her, actually share, and I'm educating. And I'm like, because you're not a meal ticket to me. I'm not looking at you as a cash grab. I said, unfortunately, there's a lot of that in, this culture where people are just looking at people just to get the bag, just to get money. They don't really care about, who they're working with. And I can't do no work with people without caring. That goes back to what we talked about with going in the classroom. Yeah. And when you were speaking about the principal, that triggered something in my head too that I wanted to mention, but I didn't want to cut you off. But I've been in school and dealt with a similar situation, and I'll never forget. I'm not going to name the school because I don't want to ruin relationships, but I am going to name the situation because it pissed me off. But it was an opportunity where I was speaking in one of the schools here that I speak in, and I was talking to the young black males. And the principal came in and like just sat there and was observing, didn't speak or acknowledge me, none of the students, the other teachers, nobody. Just came in and sat there and had this funky ass stank look on his face, like just sitting there, like just mean mugging. And so anyway, I just continued to do what I was doing. We had a phenomenal, session with each other. I want to say it was based off of like Young Kings and like the, I want to say like the self type of, I want to say that topic was self-love somewhere. But anywho, either way it goes, he came in with some funky dark cloud energy in a very sunny, bright room and just sat there. And then after about maybe 20, 30 minutes of my presentation, he ended up walking out and leaving. And so after the fact, I asked, a couple of the teachers, like what the deal was, but it's like, it's one of them people where I was saying earlier about that principle when I asked, it's a self-hate thing. Because if you are the person who is at the top of the pinnacle, the top of the pyramid in that organization, that school, and you don't want to see the empowerment, the education, the upliftment, the elevation of your students from their cultural perspective, you got a mother-loving problem. And that problem starts with the man in the mirror. And I sat there and I read the energy. I could read it. Like, who does that? Like, how do you come in an environment like that where we're bonding? Like, we're talking about real things, about, you know what I'm saying, like dealing with challenges. Some of them are talking about like trying to battle suicide. I'm talking about it's a real deep conversation.
Yes.
And he sees this and hears it, and it's almost like he's appalled because it's happening.
Yeah.
A conversation of growth.
Yeah.
So that's why when you said that, and look, I got to calm myself down because it gets me hot just thinking about it. Because it's like you got to really hate yourself to like not want to appreciate to see young brothers working on empowering and uplifting and healing themselves. Right.
You know, you part of the pipeline to prison problem.
Listen.
You know, and getting a bit, nothing hurt me more than discovering that the urban schools get more money per failure than they do per success from state and federal funding. Then it clicked, and it was a hurtful click. It was a click, like a kick in the face, you know. You will perpetuate this amongst our people. And here I am, a spiritual warrior, and I'm peeping your ish. And I made a commitment from that day forward that the only way you're going to get me out of here is if I die of natural causes, because I will continue to fight for my people until my last breath. And if this is the battleground where I am right here, right now, then let it be that. And when I go in to call on my ancestors, when I go in to make it through to the Orisha essence, when I go in and reclaim the glory of my people, it's not just for my own ego tripping. It's not just for my own, well, look at what I can do. Look at, you know, and my Orisha gonna do this to your Orisha or whatever. You know, it's to be out there and be a warrior for my people.
Sure.
And I can't deal with anybody who's not about that, because that's what it's about.
Yeah.
You understand? And I was just going back to the God complex. I couldn't track the name of the group we used to listen to, and you probably heard of it, and some people out there. But the Last Poets.
Yeah, I've heard of
them a little bit. Yeah, that's when I was first getting into drumming and all that kind of thing. I was, you know, studying with them. Matter of fact, they came to Rutgers a couple of times.
That's what's up.
Know? So that you know, that whole kind of way of looking at things, especially during those times, 60s, 70s, 80s, you know, was very powerful in regards to, you know, molding self into the calling.
Yeah.
And not fearing the calling or denying the calling. I don't hear that. But yeah, they keeping you up all night with dreams and
vision. Spirits could be in your space, in your environment. Like, yeah, it's real.
Right.
Real.
But
like crows showing up on your fence, you know what I'm saying? Cats, and you know, like it's a real thing.
But I don't see it. I don't want to be that. I don't do that. But then go to some other religion and basically do the same thing, but can't get across the conditioned state of mind and the
fear.
Yeah, and the conditioning.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know, the programming. You know, that probably has more to do with the fear than anything else.
Trapped in the matrix.
The program. My point. Yeah. Now, back in the day when it was whipping us half to death and to death, you know, then it was literally fear of life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But that and just going back, it was the vice principal at the school, because I was in the office at the time when the student came in. So it was the vice principal. Now the principal's pretty cool,
right?
Okay, but he's the schools in the urban areas. Come on, they take these tests and then they got 5% mathematics passing. They got 10% of the students in a high school who are proficient. And I'm telling you, you're going to school, but you're not being educated. You're not learning. And it's not because of you. It's because of everything above you. Now, I got to teach you self-reliance. But see, that ties into the spiritual journeys of our people as well. We can go to Bimbays and go to our shrines just like we go to church or the masjid or wherever else. And what I'm saying is perhaps we should change that.
Yeah.
Perhaps we should change that. Now, I'm not saying anything's wrong with going to those places, just like I would never tell a child don't go to school. You know what I mean?
Right.
But at the same time, if you're not being taught self-reliance, and if you're not being taught how to confront and as a result avert death, if you're not taught to have a voice, I got 18 years old who are afraid to speak in front of a class. Their hands are shaking so badly that you can hear the paper that they're holding.
Yeah. And they say that public speaking is like the worst fear, I think, of all of humans. But I say that to say, though, but at the same time, the educational system for the most part is doing its job. It's doing what it was created to do for the most part, which is
shut up and do what I tell you to do.
Underperform and all that stuff. Like, it's real quick. Bye. I want to do a quick shout out. We got a new member to the tribe, man. So appreciate you, Shakita. We definitely appreciate you for joining us, man. Definitely give thanks, gratitude, a huge Mudupwe. And she said this is her first and only membership. So we definitely give thanks for that. We appreciate it. So we look forward to making it do with you and joining the community. And also, Baba, Cool Karma asked the question of, can I be an Orisha that is and pretty much can he be initiated like with a self-initiation?
I would have to say no. You can take yourself to the doorstep of by various practices, from meditation on the chakras, as Baba Orisha Bemi stated, to I'm more the out in nature kind of person. I go in with my breathing and my tai chi and my rowing and all of that. Put his back about Baba Orisha Bemi. Yeah. So there are different techniques to kind of start to open yourself up and to come to some self-realization and actualization. I would go ahead and study the handbook, any Moye, start taking notes, in other words, prepare yourself for initiation. It's just like if you were going into the pros, you have to go through probably your high school, your college, not unless you are truly exceptional, but you have to go through certain stages. I don't know where you are, but as they say, caution. Okay. At the very least, have a mentor. At the very least, have an oluo. Okay. And even if you just work with that oluo, I've initiated people who've never gone through some kind of ceremony or big initiation, but they had me and I had them. I had their back.
Sure.
You see? So attempt not to self-initiate, but that doesn't mean don't learn and don't prepare and don't seek out an oluo who could be a part of the saving grace. Yes, okay, cool karma.
Yes, sir. Sure. And oluo, for those who are familiar with Yoruba words, is pretty much mentor or teacher. or
Guru.
initiator. You know, and I think females are ajibonas, correct, Baba?
Yeah, ajibonas.
Yeah, ajibonas. Yeah. So just, and I got, you know what, family, and also I'm working on putting together some Yoruba trainings as well for us to learn Yoruba words. Matter of fact, Baba, I think I forgot to send you the research that I did with the words, but I'll get that to you. But yeah, I'm working on putting together some presentations for us to focus on Yoruba words as well, family. So that's something that we got in the works too. Okay. All right. Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off, Baba.
Oh no. I think we're cool.
Okay.
You know, hopefully, Cool Karma, you know, at least understands where I'm coming from. You know.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the comments. Okay, here you go. He responded. He or she. I'm not sure if it's a male or female.
Okay.
They said they practice. Right. All the time.
Yeah, and that's. I'm a free spirit. Okay. So am I. Okay.
Right. All of us are.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah, right. We're
everybody here. I mean, yeah.
This is the party for all the introverts.
Hey, the outcasts, the black sheeps, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? We here now. Look, dare I say, let's just go with like the Isheche mutants, like X-Men. Everybody here got their own superpowers, and we're gonna bring them together collectively.
Well, a Cool Karma, if you're interested in learning about Ifa, you are in the teaching place.
Yes, sir.
The institution is going to start next month.
Yes, sir.
Okay. There are numerous books. You're going to Gumroad. Okay. And you know, if you enjoy reading and enjoy, you know, kind of getting your head into things, this is like the one-stop shop.
Sure.
You know? This is where everybody's going. Those who want to understand Ifa and not just do Ifa. Oh, I got my Ishe Fa, I got my Iko Fa, I got my warriors. Well, okay, well, tell me something about it. I gotta feed them. Okay, well, come on, no, I gotta feed them. I gotta go back to my godparents. Yeah, but what are you learning? What are you knowing? I mean, really?
Yeah.
So, yeah. We have to spiral all of that back inside of us, because we are the living manifestations of the grace of Olodumare and the Ashe of the Orisha and the Agbon, the wisdom of Orunmila. Okay. So yeah, get to the Gumroads. AsheExperience.gumroad or LawyerCarade.gumroad. You know, get to it, start making your selections and build your library. Build your library.
Okay. That's facts. Yes, sir. Well, Baba,
yes, sir.
Awakening the Orisha within.
Yeah, boom.
Yeah, it's been a powerful. I'm looking at my Tawede pot right now. I don't have it so where I can have it set up in the backdrop. I ain't had a stand for it, but I'm definitely working with it, and we got me two nice big, brilliant quartz crystals, kind of keeping guard at the gates of it, man. I got them sitting there. I got one on each side. You know, you go to some of the big buildings in California, get the lions on each side. Yeah. I got my crystals guarding that Tawede pot, man. So,
and speaking of Tawede, because you know, I'm gonna be up every morning for 16 days, and how the Odu of that day speaks to me. You see, I already started. I just get on and just start, you know, I'm just a drum, y'all. You know, they playing it and say, okay, so we did Agbe, and today we did Oyeku. Tomorrow we're going to do Iwori. So go to my Facebook page. And those of you who are into the Karade Nation, you know, I'll just basically send it to the Karade Nation. But I'm going to every day take that step and prostrate myself, as I stated in today's Tawede statement. Imagine for 16 days you are going on this spiritual journey, let's just say to Illiteracy, from wherever, but it's going to take 16 days for you to get there. And every time you took a step, you either had to kneel or prostrate yourself. And the only foods that you could eat were foods that were given to you by those who couldn't or just won't. They're not there yet. They're not, that's not their nature at this point. They may have young ones at home, whatever it is, but you're on this pilgrimage. But they're turning out because they know the importance of having spiritual people in their midst. They know the importance of having the enlightened ones in their midst. So they're going to support it. And those little babies that are watching us go through Tawede, they're going to see, okay, how important the spiritual journey is. And see, that's the beauty of this. That's the beauty of this. We got to stop tripping on the power tripping and start embracing the beauty of the soul of it. It's like, come on, people. Come on. Let's make this happen. So tomorrow is Iwori. Okay. Agbe Oyeku Iwori. And in Iwori, what word do we see? Come on. Ori. So I'm already thinking, boom. Okay. Ela is said to be the brother of Orunmila. And we can take that as blood brother if we want to, but just like I call Baba Orisha Baby my brother, okay, we're kindred. Ela is the kindred. Ela is the guardian of the third eye or first eye, or like you say, or whatever, but that whole pineal gland kind of thing. And Ela is said to be the one who kind of even keeps Esu into a certain framework, because just like everything else in nature, sometimes it gets a little frantic and
riled up.
Yeah, buddy. You know what I mean? So Ela works with us via or as a bridge between Orunmila and Esu. The Babalawo cannot function without a direct connection with Esu. It's Esu who brought the Opale to Orunmila. Okay, so we have that understanding. It was Orunmila who sent Esu to Olodumare, and then Olodumare gives Esu the parrot feather and the title of Bara. The commander of the power of speech, the word. Okay, so Ela works with us in terms of bridging those gaps. If we looked at it in terms of like what happens in the brain, it's that space between those two brain cells where the sparks take place, but there's space between them.
Wow. Is it like the bridge between the hemispheres, like the left and right hemisphere, or like in a different part?
But that too, but even going more cellular.
That's dope.
The brain cells aren't, connected. Everything's made up of, all right. So then there's space between. Remember we talked about how much space was in the body?
Oh, yeah. Now we're talking about atoms, neutrons, electrons, all that. Talking about 666 too.
Yeah, but we kept was over 90% of the body is space.
Yeah.
Pure space.
Yeah.
And so this might be considered in a school of thought, okay, that this is where Ela works. As the bridge, the space. Ela helps to make sure that the connections are right. And that's why Ela is said to be the brother of, which we might interpret as the essence of, because remember, O doesn't mean he in Yoruba. Okay. So we have this space. Now, when we start to appreciate the space, brother Nkosi, we start to move as spatial beings.
Oh yeah.
We are literally spaceships, literally. We were built to be on this planet. But see, that's a topic for another class. That's a class study.
Yes, right? And trust me, and Cozy, we're gonna have it too, boy. Because oh man, I'm glad you said that, Baba. Because yes, sir, that's where the meditation. I'm telling you, we're gonna go deep with that journal when it comes to meditation for real. Like I'm working on putting some powerful workshops together to speak on in depth precisely what Baba is talking about right now. But okay, so for example, like just like I was saying earlier with the meditation and the being able to astral project, right? So if you think about it, Baba, I know you would know, but us as spiritual selves, as auric bodies, we have the ability to travel, and that's what we're traveling in when we are traveling in astral projection. You know, when we're out there, out of the body, but we're having the experience. They call it the Merkaba, Merkaba, and that is the personal, almost like our own personal, individual, one man, one woman spaceship that we can astral travel, astral project. So we're gonna go ham with that. Yes, sir.
All right. So Nkosi, hopefully that okay.
The question. Can you see the question, Barbara? She said.
I can.
Okay. Is the Orisha developing within you regardless of initiation, and can the Orisha still present spirit's teachings through nature, giving us the opportunity to connect? Do you want to do that one, Barbara?
I do, only because I just went through it not too long ago with Ochosi.
Well, it was old though. That's an old message, so I'm just pulling it up.
No, I'm talking about. Remember before I told you about Ochosi had me out in the
park. Oh yeah. I got you.
Ochosi initiated me.
Got you.
Point blank. Can't nobody tell me any different. So, Chachita, the answer is yes.
Gotcha.
And in my novel, Place of Nights, War and Resurrection, I have where two of the characters, Kuumbu and Oyawoye, after going through trials and battles, stand under a starlit night, and Kuumbu, the war chief, the Balogun, looks up and he sees in the constellations Ochun, and he sees Ochosi. And Oyawoye was like, yes, I see them as well. And then under that starlit night, they both became initiated, not by people and hierarchies and ceremonies, but by the essence of their bearing and the oneness that they've reached with the nature of nature. Understand? And then they moved their life like they were Orisha. Who made Oshun Orisha? Who made Ochosi Orisha? Who made Shango Orisha? You understand? So technically, you can reach Orisha and be touched by Orisha and transformed by Orisha by nature.
Yes. Oh yeah. Listen, I'm gonna tell you, and man, I can't wait to get back. But you want to really be touched by Orisha in nature? And for those who have been, go to the mountains. Take a trip to the mountains if you want to be touched by nature, man. Because I remember I went in like 2016, 2017, and that was my first time actually going deep, up into like real mountains, and it was profound. Like it was so profound that I brought home a staff that I found in the creek. Like it had the it was a smoking yes. And there was a creek, man. I'm gonna have to share that picture, but it was a creek, and it was oh my God, the whole experience was amazing, man. The energy was so beautiful, man. It was like I've never experienced it. Time slowed down, like the air was clear. It was profound, and I just felt so connected to spirit. Mind you, this is before my Orisha journey. I don't even think I had my Elekes yet, but I still felt it. And Obatala was definitely present in the mountains, and Oshun was with them streams. And when I found that, it was a piece of a tree that was already, it was beautiful. It was like it was peeled and almost like it had marks of like the odu, or like it was beautiful. And it spoke to my soul so deep. I picked it up. I said, this is coming home with me. I said, I don't give a damn what the airline say. It's coming home with me. I'm not thinking about it. So and man, listen, I asked them, they're like, yeah, you can check it with your bag underneath. And I checked it to this day. I still got it. But it's like, it was just, the energy was so surreal. It was amazing. So I would definitely have to second what Baba said in regards to nature actually, you know, like pouring into us and touching us.
And see what the initiation do or basically just brings you into a group. You know, it brings you into a social order. Okay. There are people probably so touched by Orisha and live on the fringes. You know what I mean? Out in the woods, and they live in the caverns. They live on the mountains, and they ain't really thinking about what folks are jumping up and down and all doing all in the cities and towns. But see, Ifa, as Professor Sophia would say, Oluwole, Ifa is religion, but more than religion. Ifa is philosophy, but more than philosophy. Ifa is a way of life, but it's more than a way of life. You know? So wherever you find Ifa and you find Orisha and you're at peace with that, then go with it. Go with it. Because a lot of things that's going on are basically money makers. You know, people find a way. Okay. But when you are sincere and you feel that you're being touched by the spirit, not because you're looking for it, but because it taps you on the shoulder and makes you turn around, literally and metaphorically, then you know that Orisha are with you. And you can either, you know, groove with that, if you will, or you can start again seeking out people who you hope are going to be kindred, you know, because we are basically social beings. You know,
yeah, sure.
That's the answer to that.
Yes, sir. Oh, and by the way, Baba, I posted the day 2 quote. I'm gonna put the every post that you create, I'm gonna put them in the channel too, so the tribe's able to see it in the community tab.
Okay.
And I'll share YouTube channel
Much
as well.
appreciated.
So yeah, today, as a matter of fact, what I decided to do going forward from today till day 16 is each day, whichever Odu is connected to that day of Tawede, I'm gonna put a picture of the Odu Tawede day. Like today, I put the Oyeku Meiji Odu with Tawede day 2. So tomorrow I'll do whichever message you have. I'll take it and put it in there with, you know, tomorrow's Odu and then Tawede day 3, you know, until we get through day 16. So that way, you know, we're gonna have it documented.
Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. At the end, could we make it into an ebook for continual?
Come on, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's already done. We just
so be it is done. I say.
Right. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I think that would be, you know, helpful, and to also continue to grow it. You know, as people add in, as you add in, and as it becomes part of the everydayness of it all.
Yeah.
You know, so that would be powerful. And then when Tawede rolls around again.
Now we got documented, you know, history.
Yeah.
Lineage.
Yeah. And that's what it's all about.
All
right. So that for me, that's a closing right there.
Yeah, man.
Oh, man.
Phenomenal show, man. Phenomenal show. Great job. Tribe came through, man, and did what the tribe do. So I definitely appreciate every single one of y'all. Y'all already know it, but if you don't know, I'm gonna let you know again. We definitely appreciate you. And yeah, we definitely are cooking up. We're cooking up in these pots, man. We're definitely cooking up in these pots. And I feel like we've been real warm and bubbling. You know, the heat is turning up. Even though the weather's getting colder, I feel like our heat is getting hotter. So with that, man, it's only going to become blazing even more, you know, going into 2025, because we got a lot, you know, coming. And I can't wait, you know, to share it with you guys. So I definitely appreciate everybody, you know, the love, the support, the new members who joined today, everybody who got your copy of the Awakening, you know, Spirituality Awakening Ashe Journal. I look forward to, you know, building with y'all and having virtual workshops and sessions to go deeper into it. And Baba and I, you know, with the VIPs, we're going to continue to do what we're doing with that. And, you know, we got a lot more coming as well. A few more projects with the Place of Nights will be here in the near future. So, and then Baba's website is in the comments, family, to check out templeofthemysticpath.com, as well as I'll have it in the comments, the show description as well. So you'll be able to click the link. Yeah. The links in all the show description to all of our links as well, to all the things that we have going on in these Ashe Temple of the Mystic Path streets.
Yeah, man. We're the institution.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be so much for everybody.
Yes,
so
sir.
Much for everybody.
We appreciate you, Shakita. I definitely do, man. For real, it's a beautiful thing. You know, like you were saying earlier, Baba, the Ashe is contagious. You know, and even like some of the clients that I work with, you know, they share it. You know, they share it to family and friends, just like Shakita did. And that's where the authenticity and just being real and being humble and doing things, I feel like, with intention to do it the right way. That's where I feel like we're meant for who we're meant for, because the people who vibe with us, you know what I'm saying, is the people we vibe with. So yeah, and that's why we're the tribe. So we appreciate y'all, family, for sure.
All right.
So, you got anything you want to leave for the tribe before we get out of here?
Yeah, just always peace and blessings. And the exercising of kindness. I don't think there's any greater moment than when we are kind to one another. I don't think there's anything more powerful that lends to a sincere growth and a road to being an Inyan Gidi and an authentic human being. Going back to what Baba Orisha Bemi was saying, being authentic, being for real, being about this,
Yes,
so
sure.
Kindness, however, it's defined, is a powerful way to build a binding community.
Sure.
So I just wanted to leave, with that, the sincerity and the kindness, and the purpose. So let's study Tawede. Let's embrace the techniques, through the Awakening Journal. All right, young kings, good sisters, families out there with young and upcoming, kings, and I'm sure young queens will be coming out soon.
Yeah.
And then
can't not do it. Trust and believe that. I can't not do it. So that definitely is something. Yeah.
And then build your libraries. I got a few books out that are spirit driven, and continually making impact since the 90s.
Yes, sir.
So it's all there. It's all there. We are building an institution, not just an Ela. Okay. And if I got to say this every time, 1,000 times, times 1,000 times, we are going to do it. Not we can do it. We are going to do it. Not we thinking about doing it. We are going to do it.
Yes, sir.
And those are my closing words.
Yeah, I'm not going to impede on that, because I love it. I want one little quick. I feel like a little message came to me from spirit, as Brother Howard said that Obatala is the mountains. I agree. And what's funny? I dare to say I feel like that may be when Baba Obatala took my head from Shango and decided that. Because I swear I thought my head was Shango, but I found out it was Obatala, but it made sense. But I think that was definitely my coming of age spiritually. That trip was definitely, I would dare to say, and Kosi mentioned that earlier as well, something to that effect. But no, I agree. And I didn't even know it until in hindsight, reflecting back on that time. But it was, and I can't wait to get back. But it was a very monumental moment in nature, for sure.
Yeah,
to say the least.
Okay.
Yes, sir. But now, Baba, I appreciate you. I really do. And the words of wisdom, never get old. They only get better. So we appreciate you. And we're going to definitely make it do what it do. And we definitely made it do what it do for Tawede Day too. So
Right.
With that, family, we appreciate y'all. Once again, thanks for all the love. Thanks for the likes, the shares, the subscribes, the channel subscriptions that we got, the new members. Shout out to Ifa, Segun, Shakita, all our new members, and shout out to the whole tribe, period. We definitely appreciate you all. We'll definitely be back with some more heat in the very near future. So as always, y'all, appreciate you. Good night to you, Mr. Brown. Family, if y'all could hit the please like, share, subscribe button, man, and we'll and stay tuned to the channel as well in the community tab. I'll be sharing the Tawede's the quotes and the messages from Baba for each day of Tawede for the next 16 days, as well as all the other up and coming workshops and events and books and all types of programs that we have coming up in the near future. So we appreciate y'all, family. And with that, this has been another live stream episode of the African Spirituality Experience. I am your host, Orisha Bemi. Shout out to our distinguished community elder, none other than the Oloye Baba Ifa Tawede. We'll see y'all on the next episode. We out. Peace.
Peace.
Ẹni tó gbàgbé ilé sàpò ìyàpọ̀ tẹ́ntẹ́ ní takisa ní tàtàn ò bá padà sílé anítìjàkọ ẹja lọ pé eégún mo ṣe nígbẹ́rẹ́ ìpàkọ́. Forsake not your ancestors and pray.